Hi, I'm Joe Connolly, and on today's video, you will meet a famous New York business owner, Caroline Hirsch, owner of Caroline's on Broadway, the comedy club at 50th and Broadway. And don't worry, we'll get into comedy. But first of all, Caroline, how is business right now? Where are we?
I wish I had better news to support about business right now. You know, when we reopened after being closed for 15 months, we reopened right after we opened Memorial Day weekend. And we had a very promising few weeks of business. And business was going very well until Delta hit again. And people were alarmed about going out and being in crowds. And also, when the vaccine mandate came out, it really curtailed business. We have people that are canceling because somebody in their group is not vaccinated, so they won't come. We have private parties that are all now being pushed into 2022, which we were relying on to bring back, some of the business that we lost for the previous years. So I wish I had better things to report about it. Clearly, it's been a real challenge for us.
Gee whiz, that is a little less optimistic than I thought because we see office occupancies creeping back up. And most of the restaurants say they're not having problems with the proof of vaccination, but you're in a different situation. One person in the party is not vaccinated, knocks out the whole party. So how
Well,
are you dealing with all this?
Going to a show or comedy show or theater is not an essential of life. Going out to dinner is kind of like an essential of life. But but if you go in to see what restaurants are really doing business, it's kind of everybody that can kind of be outside and having a fun time, and they're not really going inside. So I think you have to weigh all of that. Look, we put tickets on for the New York Comedy Festival, which usually sell out in a flash, and it's taking a lot longer for certain shows to sell out.
What are you doing? Are you just waiting? I mean, I guess you can't force people to come, Caroline. How are you holding up?
We're managing. I mean, we're going to get through it. Hopefully, it will get better. But right now, it really isn't that great. Broadway is open. Open. A few shows are open on Broadway. It's really not totally open yet. So a lot of shows are just waiting to wait out this variant as it gets through here. So possibly in the next few weeks, things will start to change.
Producer Neil Carousso, what would you like to know about from Caroline?
Caroline, I'm curious, what is it like? I haven't been in the theater district recently. What's it like on a typical Friday or Saturday night right now for you?
It's not, there are not many more people than there were before, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I even went to the garage and I asked them because they've been closed at night because they don't have business. And the opening night of Broadway, I said, oh, how many cars came in? They said 2. So, I mean, I think we need to be realistic about this and not just say, oh, Broadway's reopening, but Broadway's going to have a really tough time reopening. And I think that we all need to help them out. I think people have to make a concerted effort to go out and buy a ticket to Broadway. I mean, it's not great out there for the live entertainment business. I mean, if you talk to Live Nation, you'll see what shows are selling with them. It's not a show that's for older people, like the very young show for young teenager, early 20s. Those shows are selling out fast, but the other shows are not. So I think if you dissect the live business, you'll see there are pockets of business to be done. But you can't say totally it's all come back because it hasn't.
So what kind of marketing are you doing to attract young people? Is there anything new that you've tried that you found maybe some success in?
Yeah,
I mean, you opened late May, so it hasn't been that long.
We're doing what we always do. I mean, it's business as usual. There's certainly, I mean, we certainly do all the socials, that we need to do. We're keeping up with everything we've done in the past. And we're trying hard. I mean, I don't think there's been anybody talking about Christmas party business yet. I've had 2 big benefits that said just 2 weeks ago, we need to move to 2022. So, I mean, it's all over like that. It's not only me. It's all over in New York City like that.
Business-wise,
but people don't
Caroline,
people need to be honest about it. And I'm being very honest with you. You know, I wish I had better news, because we did open and we were doing very, very nicely when we opened. And then it just took a turn a few weeks ago.
we appreciate the honesty.
Mhm.
I noticed that you didn't start as a comedy club. You started as a cabaret, right? Tell us a
Yes.
little bit about how you have built your business empire, Caroline. What was the
Well,
root?
I started as a cabaret. I was in retail, and I was working for Gimbel's, and they were closing. And I had some friends who wanted to open up a cabaret. So I invested some money with them, and we opened on 8th Avenue and 26th Street. And we were there for a number of years. Then I moved to the Seaport in 1987, and then moved uptown to Caroline's, where it is on Broadway, in 1992. So we're there almost 30 years on Broadway.
Are you still planning to take your shows around to some of the struggling smaller theaters around the city? Have you started that yet?
Yes, we have. It's
What a
part of
nice
the New
idea.
York. It's part of the New York Comedy Festival, and to be quite honest, it will be announced in about a week or so about all of the smaller shows that we're doing around the city. And we've really concentrated and really working very hard to produce these great little shows all over. And we'll be in every borough. We've gone on our way to make sure that we're everywhere, and we'll be noticed about what we're doing.
You're helping
People
smaller
need to go out and
theaters.
support their community.
Right.
Yeah,
Neil?
you need that. And so I'm curious, have there been significant changes or pivots that you've made that you feel are going to be kind of long-term for you? I mean, you're such an innovative club. So, I mean, I wonder if there's anything that you see promise in.
I think that once we get over this hump, I think that the variant really, really, really put a kibosh on business. I really do. I really do think that. And then with the mandate of the vaccine, now, you know, there's trouble with that. It's been trouble at restaurants. There was trouble at Carmine's about it. It's like I don't know exactly what it is, but it's people don't want to be asked about that. And we have to go out of our way. It's a mandate in New York City only. Now, just listen, is that we have to ask everybody if they are vaccinated. And we have to do that by law. Go out of the city and it's a different scenario.
Has comedy changed? Are the new comics doing vastly different material? What are the trends in stand-up comedy, Caroline?
I think it's the same. It's always, I mean, of course, COVID is always on everybody's mind. I mean, we did a lot of, when we opened with Darnell Rollins, I mean, he was talking about how he got COVID with Dave Chappelle in Ohio. And, you know, people talked a lot about it, about how he needed to see people's faces. He needed to see them laugh. I mean, that's always been on the minds of the comedians. And I think the comedians have just been so ready to get back on stage that they've been loving it. They really have been.
Have you ever tried stand-up yourself?
No, I haven't. No.
You're a business person, yeah.
I'm
Neil,
the
anything
producer.
else?
What's it like operating right now and booking comics and running your business? I mean, is it is it still enjoyable for you? Is it more stressful? What's the feeling of operating a business during this?
You know, Neil, I've been in business almost 40 years. I have to tell you, the last year and a half is the most stressful I have ever been about business. Even from first starting it, it's just been it's not been easy. Now, also, I have to fly people in. They don't even want to get on a plane. I mean, there are certain challenges. Some comedians don't want to go on tour. They want to wait until 2022. So therefore, we have a bit of a talent shortage, and then trying to work with everything else. First, we had a labor shortage. We couldn't hire enough waiters and waitresses. We couldn't hire enough staff people in the kitchen. But that has kind of eased up right now.
You are known for giving Jerry Seinfeld and Jay Leno early starts. Could you tell at that time, back in the 80s, I believe, that they had something special and different, that they were going to be real big?
I think so. There was something about it. It was the start of this observational humor, and David Letterman was going on the air in the early '80s when I opened, and we kind of dovetailed on who we had on the show, and I came up with this idea about having Jay Leno there, and every time Jay Leno went onto David Letterman's show, he'd say he was at Caroline's, and it gave us a national platform at that point.
Well, I wanted to ask, does humor or the industry you're in help you get through this tough period at all, Caroline?
Well, I still have to tell you that, I'm watching people online that is submitting, for the festival and whatever. I'm still laughing. It's still a great thing. Look, the New York Comedy Festival we're going to do close to 150 shows around the city. We have 17 big shows that we announced already. So go see Bill Maher, go see Mark Maron. I mean, there's so many great people to see. There are tickets left for some of the shows. Some shows are sold out already. But go online to NewYorkComedyFestival.com and look and see who's there, and you'll have a great laugh.
And the people submitting are the comedians. They're still submitting material to be chosen?
Well, we're doing Comics to Watch. We're doing New York's Funniest. So we're selecting people from these shows that will be announced shortly.
And that right there shows why you're the business person behind the comedians. Caroline, great to know you. Thank you. And best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.